Isn't it? Made by our very own Mr. Reed. Sorry for the slight delay there. Them running behind is an understatement and a half. Let me do my Twitter post right now. Yeah, I haven't heard the song yet. Man, this song is fucking fire. How you doing tonight, Toma? How's things been going for you? I have a few other things I'm doing real quick. When I say I was running behind, I did not want to wait till 10 o'clock like I did last night. Did I even start at 10? I think I did. So I was figuring to just start and finish the last little stuff. Oh, trust me, I do know. Today was... I don't know what you do for a living, of course. I work in a corporate environment. I'm IT. The higher-ups just magically decided that they forgot to let us know that they're coming up on a deadline for their budgets and they want to do some cuts. And today was, oh, hey, by the end of the day, we need y'all to magically pull out of your ass all of this data. How much I wish I was kidding. The only good thing is I am officially off work until not this week, but next week on Thursday. I'm off from Wednesday through next Wednesday. And if you refresh the page, you'll see the title down there has updated. I am off this week for the rest of the week and the first half of next week because I am turning 37 on Thursday. Yes, I am getting fucking old. Let me get logged into Warframe and then we will get going. Healthcare momentum on call. Let's look for 2 teams because summer. Oh, that blows. Yes, I understand fully. Did that pop up? Yeah, it did. Yeah, I am printer. I do the one thing that most people in IT utterly despise. I work on printers. That's gonna fucking drive me even more nuts than what it was before. I was trying to fix my monitor. It's been off kilter for a hot minute now. Son of a bitch. Oh my god, everything is fucking moved around. Good sweet Jesus. There's a lot of JavaScript and printers. Are great for your figure. Oh, sweet Jesus. I do not want to talk about how many printer puns I know at this point in my life, because that number is way too damn high. Sorry it's taking so long. I just accidentally turned a monitor off and all of my windows went, I'm going to move elsewhere. Yeah, I thought about going into security at one point, but I ended up deciding that if I do switch in the next year or so, I'm going to work on getting my CCNA and swap over to Cisco. Because I enjoy the networking side of stuff.
Because you're a friend, I'm going to offer.
Yeah, we can go to game now. Now I'm logged in. Hopefully everything works. I need my keyboard. You're working on some security is thankless. Oh, I'm fully aware because printers the same way. Nobody ever thinks about printer IT as anything other than the annoyance that we are to them. Because either we're too slow on getting stuff to them, we're not, like, every issue that happens with a printer is our fault. Print Nightmare was a literal nightmare for us. So trust me, I fully feel you on that whole thankless side of IT. My network professor just retired from Cisco. I believe he did a mixture of sales and network setup. IoT devices are so insecure. Oh, trust me, I am extremely well aware of that. I'm sure my login problem just leave that whole server farm. Yes, that's totally what it can do, not... Oh, God. I have a good one for you. So, I don't know how much either of y'all understand about printing. So, we had a random issue start cropping up. So, who I do IT for is a telecom. Technically, I work for another company and I'm contracted under the telecom, but I've pretty much only ever done work for the telecom. I don't work on other accounts, really. All of a sudden, all of the printer, or some of the printers in the stores stopped working. And we were able to eventually narrow it down to port 9100 printing just stopped. It got turned off. And then suddenly a whole other huge set of printers had port 9100 turned off. It got bad fast. Trying to figure out why my taskbar isn't going away real quick because it's going to drive me nuts. Oh, because it fucking decides to turn off when I turn the monitor off, apparently. Anyway, so back to the story. Could not figure out for the life of us what was causing it. Like, these things were just getting turned off constantly for no reason. Eventually, we found we used two different management software pieces for managing the network. We had one that was centralized, and then when we built out these servers for this expansion, each of those servers got their own version of that management software, with the idea at the time being eventually we would just have it on a per server basis. So that way, say, when it's scanning the network, it's only scanning a certain subset of the network instead of the whole thing. What eventually we discovered is my coworker at the time had put out a policy update on one of those individual instances of the management software to disable or to change something. But he had left everything else unchanged. Apparently, that version of the management software said, if you don't set this, I turn it off by default. So it was disabling port 9100, which is how Windows, because this is back when we were still using Windows print servers. Of course, these days we don't. I mean, we still do. That's the funny thing. Almost every one of the SaaS solutions for print these days, it's still a fucking print server. Anyone who's had to deal with software as a service, it's like, it's the most bullshit marketing that corporate people fucking love, but it's still a server. It's just you're either moving this, you're centralizing it, or you're moving the server to someone else. Is all SaaS fucking does. Anyways, that rant aside, yeah, it turned out that it was just disabling port 9100 on the printers. So that was one of those instances where our program should not have been doing anything, and he had checked all the configs 3 or 4 times at that point, but turns out, no, it was actually the fucking program doing it. It was always terrifying for me because once they found out I could code, they started having me work on PowerShell stuff for the servers. That one was always terrifying. Oh yeah, I mean, that happens all the time. It's like whenever people try and sit there and say stuff like, the CrowdStrike thing had to be malicious. Like, this was so targeted, even though it hit just fucking everything in the world that was running CrowdStrike, pretty much, that was Windows. There was a quote by one guy on YouTube when I went to finally look up and see what had actually happened after the dust had settled, so to speak, and see what the cause was, or at least what we believe the cause right now to be. He had said at the end, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something like, never attribute to malice what can be explained by incompetence. And in programming, it's so fucking true. Like, all the PowerShell stuff I wrote, I was running. So I didn't have to go super complex with it. Yet for every script I wrote, it would take user input and it would sanitize the input, clean the input, double check the input. I had error handling built in, even though it was me running it. Just the possibility somebody else would touch it. I did everything I could to sanity check that shit. Like, the one that was the scariest that I wrote was one that was designed around automatically removing dead queues. So technically, whenever a printer was removed, the old queue was supposed to be removed with it. But the amount of times that didn't happen because the laziness of people is just, I mean, you know. So we had a script that constantly every week would go through and ping all the printers, keep a record of this. And because we're contractors and I don't have access to SQL or any kind of database software, I was having to do this in a flat file with PowerShell. That was fun. But it would go through, ping them all, and it would keep a running tally. And after a set number of time, it would generate a file for another script we had that was a queue removal file or script. And that one, just, they wanted it to be automated, but that would, oh man, the idea of automating that and it fucking up somehow, because I'm not a professional programmer. I've programmed for fun over the years. It's not my job though. So the idea of a script I write having the power to just automatically remove that, I had that nightmare scenario of waking up one day and the script has ran and removed every queue on all the servers. Sure, we have backups, but dear God, that was a terrifying thought. All right, as for what we're doing tonight, I have no idea. Kind of how things are going right now. I've got so much crap I need to level up. I know that. I wrote an 8,000 line PowerShell script package with a custom function library to manage user account and life cycles about 10 years back. I completely understand that nagging fear for your script. Oh, yes. And as I said, my training in coding was a programming class back in high school. And I'm old enough that this was back when people were still using tables for website designs, back before CSS was, you know, common, if that puts in perspective. But I loved that course because it was a true computer science programming fundamentals kind of thing, where instead of just teaching you a language, it was about understanding how computers think and talk, and how you talk to computers and how they think and shit. And that just, it's made every programming language so easy to get into. It's just a matter of understanding the basic kind of lingo of that language and then boom, you can pretty much do stuff, at least at a basic level. But that means every language that I know is at a basic level. Granted, at this point, I'm a little bit more advanced in PowerShell. I've written enough shit in it. But I have no formal training in any of it. So yeah, it's terrifying. Like the one I just worked on, they have a centralized software distribution system that employees can access to, you know, get whatever software they need for their job. And in that was a set of scripts to install the printers, as well as the printer drivers, because of course, Print Nightmare destroyed the old way of doing it. And it was setting the wrong print queue as default. So they sent us the code in a screenshot. And I was tasked by my boss with trying to rewrite it. And initially, it was just change what was needed to set the right queue. But then I realized how poorly the script was written. And I rewrote it. And now this would be something that was pushed out to every user. That terrified me. So far, all the stuff I've done is just been on the printer side. Sure, it can affect every user, but it's on just a few print servers, not potentially every computer within the, you know, company. And what they, you know, I work for a telecom, so that's a large fucking company. That was terrifying. In the end, it turned out they sent us the wrong script. It wasn't a PowerShell script. It was just a batch file that was ran. And that was literally just changing the exact printer name to the correct, or the queue name to the right queue name for the universal queue through the software we use. All right, upgrade this. I believe it was already gilded, correct? Yeah, so we can just, where is it? Let me grab the build for this. Because while I, in preparation for the dead build stuff, did go through and clear out all my old builds. Anything that wasn't green got deleted. But of course this was a relatively new build, so crap, I need to go buy Forma before I forget. I hate buying small doses at a time. Market. I'm self-taught too. I think self-taught people work harder and end up knowing more. I agree to a point. I think taking that initial class to understand the bare fundamentals of how programming works and how computers think is a great thing to do. I think, to be fair, I think that should be universal. I think a base comp sci class like that should be taught. It should be mandatory in schools, but that's, you know, my personal opinion on it. But I think that, and then self-taught from there, is the better way. I think that's the best of both worlds. You get that true understanding of computing and computers combined with what you do by being self-taught. We'll buy 30 for now. Change Starfield modder who built their own computer knows more stuff than a comp sci crowd about modern tech. Oh, I'm not saying they don't. I need to be clear. My suggestion is a generalization. What I feel is best is a generalization, right? That is for the masses. That is not specific to people like that. Because, of course, there are people who, by the time they're 12, can run circles around, you know, people with doctorates in computer science, right? Like, that's, we all know that. We've all seen and met those people. Like, I had a friend back in school who, by the time he was in high school, had, for fun, rewritten the microcode of his CPU. I haven't talked to him in probably, at this point, 15 years or more. But last I heard, he was now working for Intel. I don't know if he still is. I don't want to give him undue hate if he's still working for Intel on microcode. But the dude rewrote the microcode on his own CPU. For fun. Like, I think, especially if you're a tech person, we've all met those people. Like I said, mine is a general kind of suggestion. 100%. The problem is that corporations require college degrees, so those bright kids still have to go take comp sci. Yeah, I am definitely somebody who despises that. I tried for 10 years to get an IT job. I got mine through sheer dumb fucking luck. I knew I was working security at the telecom. I became pretty good friends with the dude who ran the mailroom. When one of his employees retired, I swapped over to the mailroom. I essentially was making the same amount of money, but I had a better schedule, far less stress. I was far happier. I got out of what I hated. He wanted me because he knew I was tech savvy, and I knew a lot of stuff about it. And when I came over, we started on a project to update the system that tracked all the packages for the company. Well, the night we did the rollout, which was after hours, of course, there were 4 major issues that cropped up during the rollout. I solved all 4. That got me my job in printer IT. If not for that incident, I wouldn't have the job I have right now. Pure dumb luck. Yeah, this one was one I wrote in like an hour one night because I was tired of dealing with we have Spectrum in our area, and Spectrum loves to have issues, which is why I hadn't streamed for like a year and a half, 2 years. So this was one I wrote very quickly one night. Get rid of this. Just as a way to monitor my network, so I could have proof to Spectrum of it. Yeah, this one uses that's Google's, right? Yeah, it's Google's public DNS server for pinging, and goes through and just does a ping test. I believe I kept it all in one file. I do also do some object-oriented stuff when I'm doing PowerShell, but this was all in one flat file, I believe. Yeah, it outputs a log of how many pings prior when the outage starts, the date of it, when it stops, the date, duration in seconds, and how many outages since the program started. Yeah, I wrote this in about an hour one night, just as a way to monitor that. So let's do some leveling while we sit here and chit chat about IT. Actually, I'm still not sure I'm going to level that. Let's actually get something that's going to help us with experience. Did just recently get this. A mild OCD. The giant bottle of Adderall that I take 60 milligrams of a day, give you an insight to the fact that my mind is not normal, to say the least. But yeah, I'm a sucker for commenting, for doing proper, start of the file documentation stuff. Oh yeah, so if I have a public one on my GitHub of this script, and in that public one, this is how it's set up, so that way it's run via command line for the user to put in their own IP, how long they want it to run, and the interval between pings. I was quite happy with how this came out in the end. This was when I first started taking Adderall. You can probably tell. Like I said, this is about an hour to get the base of it, and then it took me about 30 minutes to make it all pretty. If you want to see it run, I'm actually quite happy with part of how it runs. I don't think it shows my IP. I'm 99% certain it doesn't, but let me... yeah, no, to the right screen. Yeah, okay, we're good. So this is how it looks, and we don't want to talk about how much time I spent on how this looks while it runs. And if you'll notice, it's updating in place instead of adding new lines. Even if this changes to a ping failed, all of this just updates in place. Which is not an easy thing to do in Power. It's not that it's hard to do in PowerShell. It's just that it's annoying to do in PowerShell. Yeah, that's how the script looks while it runs. Have an updating percentage. Yeah.
Order supports your choice.
My history is in. Actually, no. Swap it back to what it was. My history is in web dev. I used to do specifically web design. That was kind of what I did a lot back in the day. I actually had my own little company doing web design. So I have a designer's mindset. Hence why you see what you see there on that. Now, before we start actually doing all this, let's go grab a secondary, either Kuva or Tenno to level up. Now, I know we have a Kuva in this spot. We got a level. Kuva Sobe. Or do we already have a Kuva or Tenno that needs it? Let's see. Kuva. Nope. No? Okay, let's go grab a secondary. So getting back into the world of ye olde Warframe, if there's anything anyone needs to do tonight, if you need help with anything, if you need, yeah, I thought I had Detron one. If anybody needs any kind of carrying, any kind of learning, anything like that, let me know. I am just kind of floundering tonight because I've got a lot of stuff I need to work on, but my brain is so. I do have a Spyrex one. I don't have a Twin Stubble one. My brain is so very focused on a project I'm working for Warframe, but the project is outside of the game. You have. Take a look at each of these real quick. So we go for the Kuvasir, we could do the Tenant Spyrex. Ooh, damn. That's interesting. Impact. It's going to be weird to base this off this, but Kind of a disappointing one, if I'm honest. But I don't have it. And I am very much a fan of getting stuff I don't have. And that's just interesting impact. Let's see, who can we run for impact? Burt, Gauss, Grindel, Rhino, Sevagoth, Wukong, Zephyr. We're running Zephyr. Alright, let's go start a Kuva hunt with Zephyr.
Impressive.
Oh, wrong thing. Let's swap this way. Oop. I always do that. I don't know why. Every time. We are still solo. Oh, real quick. Ooh, it is a survival now. Chat, I'm gonna let y'all decide. Do y'all want to see a long solo survival through arbitration? So like more than an hour, seeing if we can survive in an arbitration solo for more than an hour? Or do you want to do some Kuva hunts and do other stuff as well? Or again, if somebody has something they want to do, let me know as well. Necros built for still path. Goodbye, all my forma. I was actually running Necros very heavily at the end of stream last night. Kuba hunt, arbitration survival 1 hour. All right, got a poll up, everybody. What should we do? While the poll runs, it's going to run for 10 minutes. I am going to go ahead and at least get my Kuva target. Cassini. Let's go see how many tries it's going to take to get a Brack.
We received intel that somebody vital to enemy operations is here. Find them and capture them.
Oh, there's a little bar building up on that.
We cannot let our target know we're here.
Now the bar is full. Okay. I thought I heard something.
Prepare for incoming support.
So we now know, don't fire that close.
You found a target. Capture them quickly before they escape. Mission complete.
That is good to know.
Has been escorted to the extraction point. Well
I also thought I should have added that to the poll. I also thought about doing Very tonight. I do need more Pathos clamps.
There's a heavy unit approaching.
I can definitely see how that fired at my tornadoes would just massacre.
Subject found.
Subject found.
Initiating reclamation.
Attack. Since I'm actually trying to level this, we're actually gonna go ahead and end the mission normally. Oh, wrong way. I know better people than me have said it, but seriously, Zephyr is such an underrated frame for how good it is.
You are here on a capture mission. You must find, capture, and extract our target.
Seriously, this is such a good frame even for just loot collection.
We cannot let our target know we're here. Track them down quickly. You found a target. Capture them quickly before they escape. Excellent work. We'll interrogate the captive back at base. Your part is done here, Tenno.
In her name.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
I don't think I need the scans for here anymore. I'll check real quick. Guess I did. Alright, drop one. Let's drop one.
Prepare for incoming support.
I almost never find anything in these, but doesn't hurt to look.
Style, baby. It's all about knowing who you are and not giving a damn. Hmm.
Let's keep going.
Happy hunting.
Seriously, that really makes like collecting on the loot in an area so easy.
The capture target has vital information that we will need to extract. They need our subject brought back alive. Target located. Bring them in.
Where you going?
Excellent work. We'll interrogate the captive back at base. Your part is done here, Tenno. Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. Heads up. A Grineer assault team is headed our way.
Soldier, you have been nominated. Your glory awaits in her fortress.
Prepare for incoming support.
I love how much Dirga is just destroying things. Oh no, Dirga's down. There's probably a lot of people here. I'll have fun with that. I swear I'm not gonna need nanospores for a hot freaking minute.
You are here on a capture mission. You must find, capture, and extract our target. Keep moving. None of the scanners have detected you. You found the target. Capture them quickly before they escape. Scans indicate our target is in the vicinity. Find them. Mission complete. The captain has been escorted to the extraction point. Well done.
That's got a tickle. I am enjoying this gun far too much. It does take way too long to reload. I don't know why I'm reloading it so much. I'm just not realizing how much fucking ammo I have. God, I can't wait to see what that's like at higher levels. Not to mention what that's like once I have this fully built out.
Subject found. Moderate clone rot. Initiating reclamation.
Ba-dum. My brain's always like, there must be something hidden here. Even though I know there probably isn't. That's not what my brain says.
Prepare for incoming support.
Yep, see a whole lot of nothing. Oh, that's where that was.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
Howie. That was not nice, sir. Spores, because, you know, I needed more of those. I'm starting to think there's no enemies left on the map. I think we killed everything. That's where we came from. Oh yeah, we need to go do that today too. Okay. We'll do that once we get our weapon.
Information that we will need to extract. We need our subject brought back alive.
Prepare for incoming support.
Target located. Bring them in.
No, you don't. God dang it. Almost saved it.
Mission complete. The captive has been escorted to the extraction point. Well done. Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
I always wonder about those dudes who are just standing alone in a hallway. It's like, what are y'all doing? They're just chilling?
You are surrounded by Premier Marines.
My only issue is that there are times I wish I wasn't so floaty. Oh no, we do not need that level of sadness tonight. Hmm.